From the Fidelity Bank Foundation studio, PBS Kansas presents One-on-One with Victor Hogstrom.
In a world where the vulnerable often go unheard, one voice rises above the noise. From navigating a new land as a child to becoming a tireless champion for families both here and across borders, her journey is one of resilience, compassion, and unwavering dedication. Yeni Silva-Renteria has shaped policies, empowered communities, and touched countless lives with a vision for a more just and equitable world. Tonight, we sit down with a true force for good, a leader whose impact resonates through generations. So get ready to be inspired as I go one-on-one with Yeni Silva-Renteria right now. Welcome to One-on-One. I'm Victor Hogstrom. Tonight, I have the distinct honor of speaking with a remarkable woman who has dedicated her life to serving others, Yeni Silva-Renteria. Yeni, welcome to the program.
Thank you for inviting me. It's an honor to be here today.
Our pleasure having you. You arrived in the United States at the age of 10. First, tell us about what was it like and how did it prepare you for life in America?
Yeah, my father was a seasonal worker in California. So he was what they call braceros, traveling back and forward to Mexico and working in the fields. And, being in California, it allowed us to actually, the remaining of the family to come. I traveled with my mom to the United States at the age of 10, and when I arrived in the United States, it was quite different of what I expected. I always watched the movies of Hollywood, and I expected to look like that. The place that I arrived, it did not look like that, and in fact, it was a bit challenging because at that time it was a lot of fear because of 187 law that was going on in California, which a lot of immigrants were in fear. So I got to experience that a bit. So it kind of set the stage for what I'm experiencing now.
So as the youngest of 12 children and the first to graduate from college in the United States, tell us what challenges and support did you encounter?
Well, in Los Angeles, as I was growing up and attended high school there and school in general, I moved from a community from Mexico of maybe 500 to 600 people, and then attended a school that was about 2,000 students. So it was a bit shocking at the beginning. It was scary.
I can imagine.
But yes, and at the same time, it was an opportunity for me. Most of my siblings were already working and supporting their family, so I was the one who I think that they had more hopes into. So it was a lot of responsibility on my shoulders. So my family was very supportive, and I found along the way a lot of mentors that guided me and supported me in me attending college, and then later on dedicating my service to the community.
So when you arrived in Los Angeles, but you ended up in Wichita.
Yes.
And you say you have had no regrets. But how did you come to Wichita?
So as I was in high school, the statistics of people like me, immigrants, usually is that we're not gonna graduate from high school, we're just gonna end up working in jobs that nobody wants. And so that's the mentality that a lot of people have related to us. And whenever I was a senior, I got pregnant and I dropped out. So not everything was a one-way street, where everything was easy. I had to drop out, have my son, very young age, and I still wanted to accomplish, for me to go to school. So I enrolled at the California Conservation Corps, which allowed me to obtain my high school diploma and then move on to, getting a career eventually. So one day, my brother, talking to him, he was living in Wichita, and he said, "What are you doing in LA? Like, there is a lot more opportunity here in Wichita." So I took a bus from downtown LA to downtown Wichita. It took me about 37 hours to get here. One suitcase, my son, and we arrived, and that's the best decision that I ever made, because Wichita has given me so many opportunities that I would never imagined to have.
Including the opportunity to attend Wichita State University, where you pursued a master's degree in social work.
Yes.
Why a master's degree, and why social work? And what lessons have you learned from that?
As I was trying to explore my career options, I went to a temp agency as soon as I arrived to Wichita. They sent me to an aircraft company where I worked for a couple of years. And I just thought that that was not my call. Getting up every day, going to work, clocking in, walking, doing my shift, and then going home with not much of a service into it. Definitely that was not something that I was interested in. Mm-hmm. So 9/11 happened, so I got laid off. And for me, that was a great opportunity to explore other things. I went back to the temp agency, was sent to a nonprofit. I was doing accounting. I was an assistant. So I thought accounting should be my career. I enrolled a butler, took the first class in accounting, and that was not it. I did took a class that it was Introduction to Social Work, and I completely fell in love with it because it was the mission that I had and my purpose in life, that it felt like it was related to my experience as an immigrant in the United States.
So tell us about the unique challenges that face the Latino families in the United States, the experiences that they're having with trauma, and the work that you've done with them, and how does your approach address them?
As I learned how to work with families within my community, speaking the language that they speak, I've noticed that there's a lot of trauma involved in what I call the pre-migration, during migration, and integration in the community. This is something that many people don't understand or don't even see as us, like whenever we experience it. And I think within that, a lot of us are not open to talk about mental health within our community, because we grow up thinking that mental health is related to craziness. No, people are crazy. People don't make sense in a way, as of more of maybe the reason why people are struggling to get up in the morning, it has to do something with depression. So the work that I have done is more psychoeducation, and I started to talk to families about that, making sure that they understand as of the why it was important for them to acknowledge their symptoms and connect them to how we can create a plan. In the social work world, we talk about that, on how we can create a plan to move on to the next step, addressing our symptoms.
So then, what are the most pressing issues for refugees and immigrant families today, and what support do you see is crucial for them?
I think within the refugee and immigrant community, we have always struggled to integrate, because there is an assumption that we should assimilate. I don't believe in assimilation. I believe in integration. And the difference between those is, if I assimilate, it's something that I will come to a country and I will adopt every single value that they have, and I will leave mine behind. Integration is me coming into a country where I am welcome, I am respected for who I am, but I'm also supported with my values and what I can bring, which the diversity that we bring as refugees and immigrants to this country, it has definitely made a huge impact. Here in Wichita, 25 years ago when I arrived, it was only one Mexican store on the north side. Now you go around the city and you can find so much diversity into it. You see people from all over the world. You can taste, their food. You can see their cultural experience, their values.
And your viewpoint brings in diversity. And what does diversity mean for a community?
I mean, it brings opportunity. Nowadays, we get to, as I mentioned, we have restaurants, we have stores. If we wouldn't have that, maybe some of us who don't have the luxury of traveling, we wouldn't be able to experience that as much. So bringing that experience home, because that's what Wichita is for many of us, home, now it allows others to experience what we can bring.
Mm-hmm. You have worked in some fashion with the United Nations Global Communications Affiliation. What were the key objectives of your UN Global Communications Affiliation?
It was just building that relationship with them and uplifting the voices of our community to them. And on the bigger picture, working.
Well, now, which community are we talking about?
Wichita in general,
okay.
And the diversity of our community, which incorporates all voices related to refugees and immigrants in general.
You have an honorary doctorate degree in ministry, but you're also an adjunct professor. What are you teaching, and what core values do you instill in your social work students? Yeah,
so I'm no longer teaching. I stopped that just because I have been so involved with the work that I'm doing at International Rescue Committee. But one of the values that I really wanted to incorporate into the conversations with our students was diversity itself. And I was teaching, a class that had to do with diversity and inclusion. Social workers, no matter what, they're so broad of a career that you can go anywhere. And a lot of the questions that I had to my students was, do you believe that you're gonna have interactions with people that look different from you? A lot of times you will be surprised that they will say no. No, I will, I'm gonna be at the hospital, so technically I wouldn't be working with a diverse population. I will say, well, I have news for you. There is a diverse population that is going to the hospitals, that is going to the schools, that is going everywhere, because we are part of the community and we interact with all. So that was just bringing awareness and understanding of how to better be cultural sensitive and how to have communication with families that may look different from ours.
What kind of results are you seeing?
Definitely there is more interest and curiosity from students. Just for them to be willing to learn more, it's a step moving forward, because I believe in the past we may not have been open because of different issues, but now more than ever we need a lot of allies, and we need a lot of people on our that understands our journey in general.
Yeni, you also serve on the Kansas Advisory Group on Juvenile Justice. What are your priorities, and exactly what is it all about?
So under that board, I was appointed by Governor Kelly, and it was work that we wanted to do related to the juveniles itself. Me being in the career of social work, I work with a lot of families that were being challenged by the many challenges or the many situations that came along with juveniles engaging in different situations. So kids who are getting arrested or detained, and then there's no plan itself, or there is no accountability on either side, either the juvenile system or the families, to ensure the safety of all. That was some of the conversations that we were having, because it was important for us to look at ways that we can not only detain and punish, but also how do we guide and what programs should be needed to support our youth that are needing more than the support that we're offering at this point.
Okay, Yeni, we've covered so much ground already, and your dedication is truly inspiring. But let's take a quick break and have some fun.
Okay.
We have a little word game that we play here, and I'll say a word, and you just tell me the first thing that comes to mind.
Perfect.
The first word is hope.
Family.
Okay. The second word, children.
Love.
Trauma.
Everyone experience it.
Advocacy.
Very important.
Wichita.
Home.
Family.
First word that comes, I will say community. We're all united.
Education.
Accessible.
Justice.
Necessary.
Okay. So talking about justice, what does social justice mean to you? And what are your current areas of focus?
Social justice, throughout my life, I've experienced some things, either personal or professionally, where, we're challenged in so many different ways. And as I was integrating into this society, into the United States, I've learned that justice is very important, and it's part of the core values of the United States. Mm-hmm. Something that I admire about this country, as opposed to other countries that I have worked with people that are from, it was the fact that the United States has rules and justice for all. And now I feel that those are being challenged, especially within my community, within the immigrant and refugee community. And the work that I do has been threatened in a way because of funding and because of many other ways that it's almost impossible to offer justice for all. So one of my core values has always been respect for others and respect for what they can bring to the table. And right now within the immigrant community, we are feeling fear. We're feeling that
Why fear?
There has been, even myself, sometimes I feel I'm a naturalized citizen. I was born in Mexico, as I mentioned. I came very young, and I got to experience many of my family, some personal experience of crossing the border, walking, from one place to the next, risking our life. And I see how families have done that, including my own. Thankfully, we were benefited from the amnesty in 87, where we were able to obtain our residency, and then eventually I was able to apply for my citizenship and do that. I remember as I was working at the aircraft company, I work with majority of white males, and I was studying the 100 questions for the civic test. They were helping me, and they didn't even know why I needed to learn that, because they didn't know that. They didn't know the history of the U.S. They didn't know when the Constitution was signed, who signed it. So I believe that within all of that, us as immigrants were put in a place where the challenges that we have to face, they're very unique, because there is a lack of understanding and a lack of grace towards us, especially right now. And when I say fear, it's because I'm even afraid of sharing more of what I can share if I don't feel safe, because that's what the current environment is. We're seeing how families are being separated. We have thousands of families that live here in Kansas that live in a mixed status. What means is that maybe one or more are undocumented, which it puts them in a very high risk right now of separation. Some of the work that I have done through the coalition and through IRC and other boards that I support is that children are going through a very stressful time because they don't know if their parents are going to show up after work. Mm-hmm. They don't know if they're going to get picked up from school by their parents. because they don't know if they're going to be arrested on the way. So right now, this is what we're feeling. And for me, that is not justice for us.
So you mentioned the lack of understanding and grace. What is responsible for that?
Is the narrative that has been used related to us? I can be one example of my resilience and my hard work. Nothing that I have gained has been given to me. I have worked for it. And we work really hard. We get up every day and we do our best to make sure that we provide back to our community as much as we can. I mean, I have done that since I moved to Wichita, working in nonprofit, working for the state, working for the county, working at WSU, and now serving, at International Rescue Committee as the executive director. We do so much work, but yet sometimes because of the narrative has been that we are criminals or that we are rapists, drug dealers, and then that's what we're seen as. And it's not fair because we have worked very hard to change that narrative, but unfortunately, with the environment that we're living in, that is creating a shadow that is following us everywhere we go.
So tell us about the biggest lessons that you've learned personally and professionally from your work, and how would you now define yourself?
Throughout my life and my career, choosing social work, I always wanted to do it because of the advocacy part. And I wanted to go and talk to people and share my story, and share the story of others. I have got myself in different places just because I wanted to show that there is a different narrative related to us, related to me. Now what I have focused on is support my community and answer to the needs.
So what motivates you in facing the challenges of your work today, based on what you said?
I would say definitely my family. They are my greatest supporters. I have 3 children, and they all know and value the work that I do. My siblings, my 10 siblings that I have. One unfortunately passed away, but 9 of them who every day support me in many different ways, so I can continue to do the work. But definitely my driver is my community. I see the need, and I'm just responding to the need along with many others like me that we understand because we've been there, we had that journey, and now we just want to make sure that they feel and we offer a welcoming community.
So Yeni, what advice do you have for young people considering social work or advocacy work today?
Wow, this profession has definitely changed my life. It has helped me see many different perspectives. It has helped me walk into many, many families' homes and learn their story. And it has allowed me to empower each of them to do better, for them to reach that American dream that we all dream of. So my biggest inspiration and desire to continue to do this work is the community itself, and I have dedicated more than 25 years for it, and I will continue to do so.
What are the hopes that you have for the future? What do you see?
Well, I hope I get to retire, and then I can volunteer and do more work.
Well, but do you see the problem changing in the future? Or is it getting worse?
I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. Definitely, it's going to take a lot of work from each of us to raise awareness of what's happening and stand up for what's right. And what we talk about is justice. We, as of right now, with the environment that we live in, people have little hope for their future because it's very uncertain. Policies are changing every single day. We see that coming from different ways. People are getting separated from their family. So for me, my hope is that things change in the political realm so we can have a safer community to live in.
So what final message do you have for our viewers, for our community, and how could people help?
That's a loaded question. I believe that if we are truly wanting the best for our community, and if we believe that families, it's the best for our community, we should learn more about who lives next to us. Sometimes when I talk about the narrative of what is being said about immigrants and refugees, it has been more of a very distant general terms, but not really of who lives right next to me. I think we've gotten so far into our own beliefs and values that we forgot to respect others. Mm-hmm. And we just need to get back to it. So I will definitely encourage people to learn more about what it looks like for my community and how can I be part of it. One of the reasons I got so much involved into the boards, into even the Citizens Police Academy, was for me to learn more because I was curious. What else can I be doing? What else can I be learning? And how I can be helping. So I think from sitting at our home, just letting life pass by and getting opinions of others into or what we believe is not making any changes. So we definitely need to be more active and be more proactive on learning what's the truth about what the community needs at this point.
When you think about everything you've said about what is happening, how does it make you feel?
One part of me wants to continue to feel hope. I really want to believe that things are going to change and that we're going to get back to being good neighbors to each other. The other part of me, of what I have seen and experienced, I don't know when that's going to happen. So I just really want to believe that there's hope, but yet I'm very cautious. I'm not just sitting and waiting for that to happen, but I'm actually taking action by raising awareness, by me being in the community and trying to make the change as I go.
Yeni Silva-Renteria, thank you so much for sharing your incredible journey and your story with us. It's a pleasure having you one-on-one.
Thank you so much.
All right. And thank you for watching. If you would like to share a thought or comment on this interview, please feel free to email us at oneonone@kpts.org. I'm Victor Hogstrom. Be well, and I'll see you again soon.